Okay, so this is my Module 1 Production Possibility Frontier PPF. So the two goods I chose that I can produce are sandwiches and smoothies. And in a 1 hour period, I can make 16 sandwiches and 20 smoothies. So when we draw our curve here, we can put our points. And I'm going to go ahead and label this A, B, C, and D. So as you can see here, A is feasible. It's a point that lies either on the production possibility curve or to the left of it. And it can be produced with currently available resources. B is infeasible because you can't produce that many in the amount of time given. And with C, it's efficient because it lies on the production possibility curve. And D is inefficient because you can easily produce more of it. Or, you can easily produce more smoothies or sandwiches than what's right here. So, let's see. And this is within a 1 hour period. So, in a 1 hour, you can see that I can produce 16 sandwiches and 20 smoothies. So, when we go down to 8 hours, in an 8 hour period, I am going to be able to make 128 sandwiches instead of 16. And I'm going to be able to make, say 20 times 8, 160 smoothies. So then when you draw your lines here, when you draw the curve there, and you go ahead and you put and again, A is feasible, B is infeasible, C is efficient, and D is inefficient. So in an 8 hour period, I am able to make 128 sandwiches and 160 smoothies. With the resources that I can use, the resources that I have to make my sandwiches include, let's just say they're peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I have peanut butter, I have my jelly, and I have bread. Now with smoothies, you have a lot more resources than with the sandwiches. With smoothies, you're going to be able to have things like milk, sugar. I don't know, some people use water instead of milk, so I'll put that down. Water, fruit, of course, fruit smoothies. Some people use ice. I don't use ice all the time, but some people use ice. And yogurt. Some people use yogurt instead of milk to thicken the smoothie. So there we have our resources. Now, if I had a limited amount of resources, let's say with the sandwiches, let's say I could only produce half of that because I have a limited supply of peanut butter. So we'll do half the sandwiches down at 8, but my sandwiches, my smoothies will still stay the same amount because I don't have a limited supply of anything with my smoothies. Now sandwiches, since I have a limited supply of peanut butter, my production decreased down a bit, but my smoothies stay the same. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a curve like this. And then, of course, within the 8 hour period, you're going to cut 128 in half. And that's going to be also like this. So I'm very good at drawing lines. So when you do 128 divided by 2, because you split it in half, it's going to be 64 sandwiches I was able to make because of my decrease in peanut butter, my limited supply of peanut butter. So here you can see that within a 1 hour period, I'm able to make 16 sandwiches and 20 smoothies. If I have a limited supply of peanut butter, I'm only able to make 8 sandwiches, but I'm still able to make 20 smoothies. In an 8 hour period, I am able to make 128 sandwiches and 160 smoothies. With a limited supply of peanut butter, I am only able to make 64 sandwiches, but I can still make 160 smoothies. Now, if if a technological improvement in the production of one of my goods happened, then let's say that my technological improvement would be that my blender for my smoothies could blend 3 times as fast. So if it can produce 3 times as fast, my sandwiches still stay the same at 16 sandwiches for 1 hour. Instead of 20 smoothies for 1 hour, it would become 60. 20 times 3 is 60. So then you draw your line here, your curve, and this is 0. And then within an 8 hour period, my sandwiches will still stay at, Okay, so they would go to 128, my sandwiches, because they were still 16 in the 1 hour period. And with smoothies, it would go to, with smoothies, it would be 480. And I got the 480 because the 60 smoothies is done in 1 hour if it tripled, if my blender can make my smoothies 3 times as fast. And then if you do an 8 hour period, it goes up to 480 smoothies. And my sandwiches stay at 128, originally being 16 for 1 hour, and in an 8 hour period, 128 sandwiches for an 8 hour period. So then I draw my curve. And we can go ahead and do A, B, C, and D. So, again, in a 1 hour period, I can make 16 sandwiches, 20 smoothies. And in an 8 hour period, I am able to make 128 sandwiches and 160 smoothies. With a limited supply of peanut butter, I get a decrease in my sandwiches production because I'm only able to make 8 an hour, but my smoothie still stays the same as 20 an hour. With a decrease in my peanut butter, my sandwich production decreases down to 64 in an 8 hour period, but I can still make 160 smoothies in an 8 hour period. And here you can see A, B, C, and D. And here you can see that if my blender were to blend 3 times as fast, my sandwiches still stays the same as 16 sandwiches an hour, but my smoothies increase to 60 smoothies an hour. And in an 8 hour period, my sandwiches increase to 128 per hour, and my smoothies, with the blender being able to blend 3 times as fast, my smoothies will jump up to 408 smoothies an hour. So that is my production possibility frontier.